Throughout the course of history, disease outbreaks have ravaged humanity, sometimes changing the course of history, at times signaling the end of entire civilizations. The following are the most lethal pandemics that hit the world. Smallpox ranks among the most devastating diseases to ever exist in human history. It dramatically altered the course of history, even contributing to the declining of entire civilizations. This was discovered in 1796, which infected between 10 and 15 million people. Measles is a very contagious and serious disease caused by a virus. Before the vaccine was introduced in 1963 and its use became widespread, there were major measles epidemics every 2 to 3 years, causing nearly 2 million deaths a year. It is estimated that 110,000 people died from this cause in 2017, most of them under 5 years of age, and despite the existence of safe and effective vaccines. The 1918 flu pandemic, also known as the Spanish flu, was a pandemic caused by an outbreak of the influenza type of virus, subtype H1N1. Unlike other influenza epidemics that mainly affect children and the elderly, its victims were also young and healthy adults, and also animals, including cats and dogs. It is considered one of the most devastating pandemics in human history, killing between 20 and 40 million people in just 1 year. The Black Death or Black Death refers to the most devastating plague pandemic in human history that affected Eurasia in the 14th century and peaked between 1347 and 1353. It is difficult to know the number of deaths, but models contemporaries estimate them between 75 and 200 million, equivalent to 60% of the population of Europe. HIV or AIDS is a virus that causes immunodeficiency in the body, that is, several diseases occur since it strongly weakens the defenses of our body. It is more commonly spread through sex. An estimated 78 million people have been infected by the virus and 39 million have died from AIDS or related diseases. There are currently 36.9 million cases in the world. The Justinian Plague was an epidemic that affected the Eastern Roman Empire or Byzantine Empire, including the city of Constantinople and other parts of Europe, Asia and Africa between the years 541 and 549. It is estimated that between 25 and 50 million people died. People, that is, between 13 and 26% of the estimated population in the 6th century. The Antonine Plague, 165 to 180, also known as the Plague of Galen, because it was this famous doctor who described it, was a smallpox or measles pandemic that affected the Roman Empire. It was carried by troops returning from Lucio Vero's Parthic War in Mesopotamia. It is estimated that approximately 5 million people were infected. Typhus infection. It is the feces that lice leave on the skin that are overflowing with rickettsia bacteria. When the human scratches the bites, he spreads the feces through the wound, facilitating the access of the bacteria to the interior of the body. Typhus kills 1 sick person in every 5 million people annually. Cholera is an acute or severe infectious contagious intestinal disease caused by serotypes O1 and O139 of the bacterium Vibrio cholerae, which produces secretory diarrhea characterized by abundant, pale and milky watery stools, similar to rice washing water, with a high content of sodium, bicarbonate and potassium, and a low amount of protein. Researchers estimate that each year there are between 1.3 and 4 million cases of cholera in the world, and between 21,000 and 143,000 deaths from this cause. The 1968 flu pandemic, better known as the Hong Kong flu, was an influenza pandemic that occurred in 1968, when a new variation of the hemagglutinin of the influenza A virus subtype H3N2 appeared, which also contained the neuraminidase N2 of the subtype H2N2, by means of antigenic exchange. The estimated number of deaths was 1 million globally and around 100,000 in the United States. The 1889 to 1899 flu pandemic, also known as the Russian flu, was an influenza pandemic that occurred between October 1889 and December 1890. The pandemic infected more than 25 million people and killed about 1 million people around the world. H1N1 H1N1 virus is the 2009-2010 influenza A. H1N1 pandemic was a pandemic caused by a variant of influenza virus A, H1N1 subtype, which emerged in 2009. 602,493 cases and 18,282 deaths were detected. Finally, we have the current COVID-19 pandemic that until now is known as a fatal pneumonia and also supremely contagious. This virus contains all kinds of symptoms ranging from dry cough, fever and fatigue, etc. It is estimated that to date there are 86.2 million cases and 1.86 million deaths. Always stay safe, wear a mask and follow health protocols. Share this video to your friends and family. Thanks for